Okay, so here we go. 10.4 is about solving polynomial equations in factored form. So let's start by talking about the zero product property. The zero product property is pretty simple. So if you have a little equation and you've got two numbers, any two numbers, or you have two unknown amounts, and if the answer to that product is 0, well, guess what? Then either A was 0 or B is 0. One of the two of them have to be 0, right? To get a product of 0, either A has to be 0 or B has to be 0. How does that apply to us? Well, we've been looking at polynomials. We spent a whole chapter solving quadratic equations that were presented to us as a trinomial, right? And then we either graphed them or we used the quadratic formula. Here, we're given the equation in a different form. We're given it in what's called factor form, and you'll learn more about that as we ourselves learn how to factor. But in this lesson, you're given an equation in this form. So we can apply the zero product property here to say, well, one of those two binomials has to equal 0 for the product of the two of the binomials to be 0. So we kind of set up two little equations. Either x minus 2 has to equal 0, which will give me x equals 2, or x minus 3 has to equal 0, which will give me x equals 3. So the solutions to that equation, it's a quadratic equation, it's just written in factored form, are right there. X equals 2 or x equals 3. Okay, let's just do one more. Another example could be, what if I have x plus 5 squared equals 0? Okay, well, in this case, both of the binomials are the same because it's just that binomial squared. So that binomial has to, I can set up an equation saying, well, that's got to equal 0. To make that equal 0, x has got to be negative 5. That is a quadratic equation that just has one solution, negative 5. So if we picture that too, we can picture that graph of that equation would just touch the x-axis in one point at negative 5. It's all still connecting, right? There can be graphs of these. This equation right here, these solutions means that the parabola would cross at values of x equals 2 or x equals 3. There's more information than that in your book if you want to look further, but I think that's enough. That's the basic idea of lesson 10.4.